Hello guys, welcome back to another reaction. We're gonna react to the White House security, how good the White House is secured, and let's get right into this. Let's get it.
It's one of our planet's most iconic buildings, a symbol of the US, and the most secure family home in the world.
Welcome to the White House.
Each of the rooms has a special personality.
I just think that everything in the White House should be the best.
I want to welcome all of you here. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
1600 Pennsylvania
Damn,
Avenue.
right.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
This is the people's house, for real.
But deep inside the White House, the president does a lot more than just eat, sleep, binge the V1M, and repeat. This is where some of the world's most consequential decisions are taken. And when you've got stuff like that going on, keeping unwanted people out
the White
and
House
critical secrets in
Very
is the name
interesting,
of the
very
game.
interesting.
Probably the most,
and one of the most secure buildings in the world.
the most secure buildings in the world.
It's one of the most secure places in the freaking world.
Like,
Over the
I'm really
centuries,
curious
this simple neo
if which is the most secured building in the world. White House is one of the best secured. They just said it. But what is the most secured? That would be very, very interesting, you know? Let's just
Little
watch.
House has, threat by threat, quietly become one of the most subtly fortified sites in the world. There's everything from snipers and missiles to nuclear-proof bunkers, layer
Missiles
upon
is
layer of
crazy.
fencing, and secret underground
That's-
tunnels to
that's
protect
crazy.
the administration and the first family. You've got an office, home, and event space above ground, and a secret labyrinth of operation centers and surveillance underneath. This place is world famous, yet still shrouded in mystery. So sit down, strap yourself in, and prepare to be fully briefed on the insane security of the White House.
It's bright.
Now, before bringing you up to speed on White House security, we need to make sure you're suitably briefed on this site. We start way back in 1791 when the White House first started coming to life. Following a competition to design the mansion, Irish-born architect James Hoban saw his vision begin to take shape. As was sadly common at the time, much of the construction was carried out with the forced labour of enslaved people. Using sandstone, the White House had more than 100 rooms spread over 3 floors. It would, of course, go on to be changed and updated multiple times over the years. In 1814, the British started a fire here that grew so large the glow could be seen 50 miles away.
Damn,
Sorry
the
about
British?
It was only heavy
Damn.
rainfall that stopped.
Obviously, it was the British that burnt the place down. Those evil little bastards. No, I'm just joking. But damn, the British? Did they hate the Americans that much? Like, okay, they stole their language, but made it a little different. But damn, that's crazy.
The president's house from being flattened in time.
That's very crazy.
Notable updates throughout the 19th century included the addition of terraces to the east and west, and the iconic semicircular portico to the south. The famous West Wing was added in 1902 to create more office space. It was only meant to be temporary, but in 1909, President William Taft decided he wanted it doubled in size. Taft's real architectural legacy came with the construction of the Oval Office.
The
Inspired
Oval
by
Office.
the Blue Room inside the mansion, that's the original
Famous
bit of the building.
Oval Office.
The oval shape dates back to President Washington's Philadelphia mansion, the original site of the US Capitol. And this room has been the main workspace of the presidents ever since.
Did the
Cementing
presidents
future of
really
the West
work
Wing,
in the
FDR
Oval Office? Like, is that the, or is this, is the Oval Office just a place where they sit down and the media just films them, or is it like their workspace, and that's where they get their work done? That would be very interesting. I don't know, but Oval Office, a very important office and place. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
That it again in 1934, from 15,000 up to 40,000 square feet. The East Wing, meanwhile, wasn't constructed until 1942, again to create more office space. But by the late 1940s, after standing for a century and a half, the White House was starting to show its age. America's most famous home was in danger of collapse. The beams
Really?
supporting the
Danger
structure were
of
falling
collapse?
apart, and President Truman regularly complained of popping sounds and drafts. Then, in 1948, following reports it was actually unsafe to live in, the president left the White
Unsafe
House.
to live is
Everything, and I mean
crazy.
everything bar the outer walls, was
That
completely
is crazy.
rebuilt.
Didn't know that.
Deep foundations were dug below
Very
the house, and the
interesting.
interior was fitted out with a new steel frame skeleton.
Or you gotta
More than 120
this is mind blowing. This is so interesting. Like for me, this is so interesting. I don't know how about you guys, but this is very interesting for me. Like you gotta understand, the White House was unstable in the 40s, and they had to like rebuild it almost from scratch. Crazy. You gotta think about it. Like this is like almost a holy place. You know what I mean? This is the place where the president of the United States is and lives. And you're telling me in the 40s he couldn't live there? That's crazy because it was unstable.
Concrete columns were poured to a depth of 25 feet to support the inner walls, and
Gotta
two
think
new
about that. That is
sub-basement levels were
really crazy.
excavated.
That is crazy.
It wasn't until 1952 when Truman and his family finally moved back in to what is, aside from some renovations and tech upgrades, by and large the White House that we all know today. Now, big decisions are made at the White House every day, but the crucial daily maintenance of local infrastructure generally falls to local cities and councils. It can be a long and expensive process to make sure the roads we use every day are up to scratch. Thankfully, today's video sponsor, Vialytics, are here to help.
No. No ads in here.
The
No
key
ads.
places the description. Welcome to apply to have
No
a nosy round
ads.
this grand old house. There are
We don't support no
132
ads
rooms
here.
and what feels like a
We don't support no free mentions of some sort of companies. You know, if they sponsor me, I'll show their logo and stuff. But they haven't sponsored me yet, so no free promo over here.
proportionate 35 bathrooms. They're spread across 6
Damn,
levels.
132
a two-story
rooms,
basement, the ground
35
floor,
bath-
first floor,
Hey,
second
low-key,
floor,
that's...
and third
I need
floor,
pause
and
this, yeah, I'm sorry. The 35 bathrooms is not that much. Like, the place has 4 floors. You know, we got the ground floor, the first floor, the second floor, and the third floor. And they have 132 rooms. You're telling me there's only 35 bathrooms? There's like hundreds of people, maybe even in the thousands, living or working there, and there's only 35? Yeah. But we don't know how big the 35 bathrooms are. Could be large. So, yeah. Could be large. We don't know. They got a basement. That's crazy. I think the basement is probably more expensive than my house. You know what I mean? Like, even the basement is probably, the basement is probably like 10 times more expensive than my house and your houses combined. Yeah. I think if you live in the basement of the White House, you're living better than your own house. Like, just be honest. Like, probably it's crazy to think about, right?
all access using 8 staircases and
8
3 lifts.
staircases and
the structure
3
has
elevators.
400 doors, nearly 150
Damn.
windows, and 28 fireplaces
Damn.
for those cold DC winters.
Flexing
For those
on
of you
us.
that can't make it out here for the tour, don't worry, because we're going to take you on one right now. We're starting over here in the 2-story East Wing, where the office of the First Lady or First Gentleman is based. But dig down much, much deeper, and you'll discover the
What is the
Presidential
First Lady?
Emergency Operations
What is the
Center,
First Lady?
or
Whoa, we
PEOC,
need to pause this.
built as a
Oh, what is the First Lady? Write that down in the comments. I think, is it the partner of the president? I think so. But if I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments down below. But I think that's the president's wife
concrete air raid shelter
Or
following
man,
the
if you know a wife is president, a woman is a president. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
attack on Pearl Harbor. It's fitted out with everything you need
They
to
should stay in the
communicate with
kitchen.
the outside world. It's this
Just
complex
joking.
where then Vice
Just
President Dick
joking,
Cheney
everybody.
and eventually President Bush were moved to on 9/11, and it's rumored to be able to withstand a nuclear attack. In the iconic executive mansion, you'll find the staterooms spread across the ground and first floors, with the residence where the first family actually lives above that. A corridor connects the east and west wings, stretching all the way through the main house. And so, over to the West Wing. Along the ground floor, there are offices for the Secret Service and Homeland Security. The Navy mess is here too. Since 1951, the
Navy?
Navy's best culinary
Oh, that's
minds
crazy.
have catered for the White House. Next door is the famous Situation Room, which has just received a $50 million upgrade. It was first built following the Bay of Pigs invasion and was used for updates throughout the Vietnam War by Lyndon Johnson. It's from here that George W. Bush launched the Iraq War and where Barack Obama watched the Navy SEAL team raid against bin Laden. It's a lot more than just a room, too. It's actually a 5,500 square foot network made up of various
5,000
spaces.
square?
In fact, it
Crazy. Gotta think about that. That room has some rich history. Probably way richer in history than Africa. And I'm not hating on Africa, I'm just saying. Or Asia. Or South America, for that part. Like, that room has probably so much history. Like, you know, Obama was there, where he invaded and killed bin Laden. Vietnam War plans were made there. He said what did he else say? George W. Bush on I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say is that room is so rich in history. Is crazy.
to be a bowling alley, but don't worry, that lane still exists, it's just been relocated. You can
A
now find
bowling
it sandwiched
alley.
between a flower shop and the carpenter's shop underneath the north portico.
That's
On
very
the first floor
interesting.
of the West Wing is the press briefing room.
That's
the
why
original
Joe Biden
site
was
of the
so
indoor
bad.
pool. The
That's why Joe Biden was so bad running the country. He was bowling all day. That little cunt.
cabinet room, and of course, the Oval Office. There's also another 100 or so rooms for the Vice President and various other functions that we haven't really got time to go through now. So, how do you keep all of this secure? It's fair to say that security at the White House has evolved over the years. Back in 1842, the author Charles Dickens visited the White House, and when nobody answered the door, he just let himself in. We would strongly recommend not doing that today. While as a viewer of the B1M, I personally trust your character, security staff can never be too sure. You can book ahead to tour the White House, but if you're planning a visit, requests have to be made 3 weeks in
Hey
advance
guys,
to allow for background
write down
checks.
below if I should go to America and go to the White House in Washington, D.C. Should I go there? Let me know. I have no money. I'll admit it. I'm broke. That's why it would be nice if you would donate and we get like a GoFundMe and I get like 5-6K out of it. And I fly to Washington, D.C. and vlog it. And we go to the White House and do some crazy shit. That would be cool, but probably not gonna happen.
Is on permanent 24/7 watch. Any pilots trying to take an unplanned shortcut through Washington airspace will be promptly escorted away by military aircraft. Worse, they may be warned about the likelihood of an incoming missile. Short to medium range surface-to-air missiles are stationed at key locations around Washington. They're ready to act at a moment's notice. It really is the most restricted patch of sky in the world. The nearest airport to the White House is Reagan National, about 4 miles away. Since 9/11, a flight-restricted zone has extended for 15 nautical miles around the airport, with strict controls over entering the airspace. There's also Prohibited Area 56, or P56. It's existed for 50 years and covers the White House, the National Mall, and the residence of the Vice President. Back on the ground, the best place to start is with the fence around the White House perimeter. It's simple, but very effective. In 2023, it was raised from 6.5 feet to 13 feet. Now, that might not sound too high, but altogether it's 3,500 feet of thick iron bars fitted with pressure sensors, anti-climb, and anti-intrusion technology. Thanks to help from its deep concrete footings, it's also blast and ram-proof, a very far cry from the wooden fence that once stood here in the 1800s. A range of infrared cameras and a roof-mounted radar system highlight intruders to security house is a task given to the Secret Service. While it's not publicly known how many agents are stationed at the White House, we do know that at all hours, well over 1,000 officers are placed there and at key locations around DC.
That's
Groups
crazy.
of armed
1,000
agents patrol the grounds, and a team of snipers
people
keep
working
watch from the roof
and
of the
snipers.
executive
They got
mansion.
snipers.
And yet, with all those measures, there are still those who've tried their luck at a very ill-advised break-in. In 2014, before the fence was upgraded, a 2-year-old managed to
That's
squeeze
crazy.
through the bars to the north and delay a presidential address. How
A
many lockdowns
2-year-old
at ultra-secure
snuck
government
in?
facilities
Okay,
have
that's
been
crazy.
called
Whoa,
by
whoa,
the age
whoa,
of
whoa,
2?
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Of
whoa,
course.
whoa. A 2-year-old snuck in and got into the White House, or like in the front yard. Crazy. Like, you're secure. Like, that day, a lot of people got fired. Like, I'll tell you, a lot of people got fired that day. Letting a 2-year-old get in the White House or the front yard of the White House? Like, nah. That's L security at that point. That's L security. I would fire like half of the security staff. 100%. Like, okay, you shouldn't snipe a fucking 2-year-old, but not let that shit happen, right? There should be like at least 50 or 80 bodyguards just around the premises.
There have in fact been multiple
That's
more dramatic
crazy.
and even fatal attempts. Our unequivocal advice is please don't bother. Book a tour like everyone else, or just watch this video again. Conspiracies about the White House are a dime a dozen. It's no secret that the president's mansion is surrounded by exactly that. Secrets. From
A
east
lot
to
of
west,
secrets.
top to bottom, but most notably, down below, the tunnels. It's popular opinion that underneath
There's
the White
tunnels?
House there's a system of passageways.
I didn't know
Probably
that.
not quite like that. Here's what we do know for sure. There's a tunnel that leads down to the Presidential Emergency Operations Center. Then, between the East Wing
The,
and the
the
Treasury
tunnels are
Building, there's
probably,
another
if another war breaks out, and I'm not saying a war is gonna break out, but today everything can happen. I say World War III is not gonna happen, but could. Yeah, it's probably for wars. If America gets attacked, right? I don't know. But I think the tunnels are for the president to escape.
161-foot escape routes.
That
Less
looked
substantiated
escape routes.
rumours include underground
Like I
passages
said.
to the Pentagon, the Capitol Building, Blair House, and the residence of the Vice President. As you can see, the rumours of these tunnels really do stretch far and wide,
Crazy.
quite literally.
Damn.
Unfortunately, any further information is well above our clearance level.
Yeah, obviously.
The White House is a lot more than just a big and imposing mansion. It's steeped in history, a survivor of fires, plane crashes, and multiple wars. It's a place of history-altering decisions and family memories alike, an architecturally significant and world-renowned landmark. But even with its endless renovations and security upgrades, at its heart, James Hoburn's original White House still lives on. And with a new family moving in very soon, who knows what the next chapter of history might
Oh,
bring.
this video is 1 year old, by the way. That's why they showed Trump and Kamala. But now we know Trump is president.
This video was sponsored by
And
Vialytics.
in my opinion,
You can
top
learn
5
more about
presidents
that
of
at the
all
link below.
time.
Don't forget that we're inspiring the next generation
Over,
of builders through our investment into
over,
Brickborough. You can learn more and get
Barack
started
Obama,
today and
in my
build the
opinion.
White
But Barack
House
Obama
over
was
at
also a good
brickborough.com.
president. Don't
And
get me
as
wrong.
always, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to get
Yeah, and the
more
video's
from
over.
the definitive video channel for construction,
Nice. Guys, hope you liked the reaction. Hope you liked the video. Very interesting. It was very, very interesting. I learned some new stuff. Hope you did. And damn, like, comment down below who was the better president, Trump or Biden. Yeah, let me know, guys. I think Trump, obviously, for so many reasons. And comment down below which president is better, Obama or Trump. I say Trump slightly, but Obama was also a great president, don't get me wrong. This video was great though, very great. And the White House is very secure. Obviously they had their errors and things went south a few times, but everybody makes mistakes. A White House rich in history. Yeah. One day I want to visit the White House too, maybe meet the president. So like and subscribe on this video so I can get there. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.